Hello, my name is Ruth Chiles. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a brainspotting consultant, specializing in brainspotting and performance, as well as an author and a flautist. So I've been recording a series of educational videos about brainspotting and performance. And I've been talking about, over the last few weeks, the 5 performance gifts. But today I wanted to take a slight aside to talk about something I think we very rarely talk about within Brainspotting, but was really inspired by a lovely conversation I had last week with an extraordinary flautist who's called Kirsten McCall. I really recommend that you look up some of his recordings. He's the principal flute for the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra in the Netherlands. So he writes his own compositions, which are so hard to play. I think he's probably one of the few flautists that could actually play them. And we were joking around about the different parts of him, you know, his composer part and his flautist part, and just having this really sweet conversation. And out of that, he was talking about the reason he composes for himself is because the standard flute repertoire doesn't give him a challenge any longer. And so he's written music that really excites him. And in a way, what he's talking about is that putting himself in the outer limits of his window of tolerance, not beyond them, but where he's really challenged to be absolutely the best that he can be when he's playing. And I was thinking about how little we talk about these different parts of the nervous system and how they're involved in performance. And so I was inspired to talk about that today. So if we were to think of it in terms of, you know, let's put it in the frame of the polyvagal theory where we have our sympathetic nervous system, ventral vagal, and the dorsal vagal part of the nervous system. And often we have this idea that the sympathetic and the dorsal vagal are where the problems are, you know, that we don't want to be aroused or collapsed into those parts of the nervous system. But actually, what that informs us is that what we're looking to do is to release the fear, the activation out of those parts of the nervous system, so that we're able to access, for instance, the sympathetic nervous system without going into hyper activation and the fascia tensing, the coordination in the brain being inhibited. And we also want to be able to go into and access a dorsal vagal system, which is where our muscles are really relaxed. It's where we have this broader vision and we have a deep connection to self and beyond self, but without going in, being in freeze or collapse, which means that the survival aspect of the nervous system has been healed. And brainspotting is for me, the most ideal way of enabling that healing. Because when we are performing, we learn how to be in all 3 aspects of the nervous system at the same time, meaning that we are in this absolutely excited, heightened state that is the sympathetic nervous system in safety. At the same time, we're connected right into our ventral vagal system, which is where we create union with the other people that we are performing with, so that we have such deep level of subcortical attunement with them that we move as one. And then we also need to be simultaneously connected into our dorsal vagal nervous system, which is where we have this deep connection to the self, beyond self, but particularly into our deepest levels of creativity. And so that's a skill that as performers we need to develop. And as brainspotting therapists, we can not only develop that in ourselves, which is really great for us, but at the same time, we can enable our clients to be able to develop their access. So what we can do at the beginning is we enable them to connect into each one of those individually and be able to transition easily and fluidly between them, to help them develop their interoceptive awareness of what it's like to be in each of those parts of their nervous system, and then enable them to be able to combine them. And they use that combined nervous system when they are practicing, so that naturally becomes the state that they're in when they are performing as well. And so these are some of the aspects that I will be teaching you through the Flow Model Master Program, so that you know how to develop this in yourself and with your clients using Brainspotting to do so. Thank you for listening.